Ladies and gentlemen, all right, ladies, let's get real for a moment. You know that feeling when you meet someone special and everything seems to be going great, but then you find yourself wondering, what should I share and what should I keep to myself? We've all been there. And let me tell you, there are some things you should never share with a man, no matter how close you are. Trust me, these things could either make or break a relationship. And if you want to keep that connection strong and healthy, you need to know what's best left unsaid. So if you're ready to protect your relationship, keep your dignity and make sure you're playing your cards right. Stay tuned, because I'm about to share 5 things women must keep private and why you should never tell a man these secrets. You won't want to miss it, because this could change the way you approach your relationships forever. When you're in a new relationship, there's a natural urge to want to share everything, your past, your thoughts, your feelings. But there's one area that should remain off limits in the beginning, your past relationships and exes. Now, don't get me wrong. It's important to be honest, but there's a fine line between sharing your history and dwelling on your past. When you start bringing up your exes too much, it can not only create unnecessary tension, but can also lead your new partner to feel like they're just a placeholder in your life, rather than someone with whom you're building a future. Let's take a step back for a moment and think about why this happens. We all have a history. We've all had relationships that didn't work out, and those experiences shape who we are today. But it's crucial to understand that the person you're seeing now should be your focus, not the people you've been with before. Constantly talking about your ex or comparing your new partner to them can lead to feelings of insecurity and self-doubt. Your new partner doesn't want to feel like they're being measured against someone from your past, especially if that person left a significant impact on you. When you're constantly bringing up your ex, it can create an emotional barrier that's hard to overcome. You might find yourself looking for similarities between your ex and your new partner, and that can prevent you from truly getting to know each other and forming a deep connection. It also makes it harder for the new person to feel special. You want them to know that they are the one you're interested in now, not someone from a past life. It's not just about the comparisons either. Talking about your ex too much could also bring unnecessary drama into the relationship. Your partner might start feeling that they're not just competing with your ex for your attention, but also dealing with past unresolved feelings you may still have. Even if those feelings are long gone, the fact that you're still talking about your ex can make your partner question where your emotional investment truly lies. They might begin to feel like they're just the new guy, trying to replace someone who may have meant something significant to you. That's not a fair position to put them in, especially when you're trying to build something real. On top of that, it's important to acknowledge that every relationship is different. Comparing the two can lead to unhealthy expectations, and you'll find yourself in a constant cycle of wondering why things don't feel exactly the same. The truth is, every person brings something unique to a relationship, and those differences should be celebrated, not compared to someone else. When you focus on the past, you prevent yourself from fully embracing the present and future with someone new. Now, I get it. You may feel the need to talk about your ex for closure, or maybe you're just used to sharing those stories. But the reality is, sharing too much about your past relationships, especially too early in the game, can undermine the new connection you're trying to create. It's like inviting the past into your present relationship when it doesn't need to be there. It's not just about the ex themselves, it's about the energy you're bringing into your new relationship. If you're constantly living in the past, how can you give your current partner the attention and love they deserve. This doesn't mean you should hide your past or be dishonest about it. If your partner asks about your ex or your past relationships, it's okay to acknowledge them, but the key is to keep it brief and neutral. Don't get too detailed. The goal is to show that you're emotionally available for your current partner and ready to focus on the future, not linger on what once was. Your past shaped you, but it's not something you need to continue reliving in every conversation. In conclusion, when you keep your past relationships private, you're not only protecting your emotional space, but also giving your new relationship the best possible chance to thrive. Stop comparing your partner to your ex and start seeing them for who they truly are. Every relationship deserves to stand on its own merits, and your new partner deserves to feel like they're the only one in your life. So keep your ex out of the conversation and focus on building something real and meaningful in the here and now. That's how you truly set yourself up for success. Another area that should be kept private is your financial situation. Now, I know money is something that can be difficult to talk about in any relationship, but especially early on. You might be tempted to share everything, the good, the bad, the in-between. But it's important to understand that discussing your finances too early in a relationship can create unnecessary pressure, misinterpretation, or even resentment. Money is a sensitive subject, and when it comes to relationships, it has the potential to cause tension. One of the most important things to realize here is that sharing your financial struggles or success can lead to either expectations or judgments that are unfair to both you and your partner. If you're struggling financially, you may unknowingly make your partner feel responsible for your situation, even though that's not your intention. You may be looking for empathy or help, but putting that on someone else's shoulders too soon can make things feel one-sided and even manipulative. And if you're doing well financially, you run the risk of unintentionally making your partner feel inferior or less than, even if that's not your intention. Money can have a powerful impact on how we perceive each other. The reality is that when it comes to finances, timing is everything. In the early stages of a relationship, it's important to focus on getting to know one another on a deeper, emotional level rather than diving into financial matters. The fact is, no one likes to be judged based on their paycheck or what they have or don't have. Sharing too much too soon can make your partner feel like you're sizing them up based on what they can offer financially rather than who they are as a person. This could lead to feelings of inadequacy, or on the other side, might create a situation where one person feels they need to keep up with the other financially, even if they aren't comfortable doing so. If you're open about your financial situation too early, it can also place unfair pressure on your partner. It's important to build trust, love, and emotional intimacy before introducing the stress of financial matters. Money might be an issue later on, especially if the relationship gets serious and you're combining household's assets or planning a future together. But in the early stages, the focus should be on building a bond that isn't tainted by financial concerns. Every relationship goes through different phases, and there's a time and place for discussing money. But early on, it can cloud your connection in ways that can be hard to undo. This is why it's critical to keep certain aspects of your financial life private at the start. If you're struggling with debt or feel insecure about your earnings, it's not something you need to immediately lay on the table. Instead of focusing on numbers, focus on the things that truly make you both happy. Focus on having fun together, enjoying each other's company, and developing a deeper connection. The foundation of any great relationship is trust, understanding, and shared experiences, not how much money one person has or doesn't have. Additionally, it's important to remember that when it comes to money, everyone has different perspectives. Some people are incredibly frugal, while others may be more carefree with spending. Talking about finances too early could open the door to arguments about how much you should be saving, what you should be spending on, or how your values align. If your partner is at a different place financially, whether it's because they're in debt, saving aggressively, or not yet financially independent, it can create friction. Instead of discussing the numbers, it's better to focus on emotional compatibility and shared values. Money doesn't define who you are, but how you handle it can tell a lot about your mindset and priorities, and that should evolve over time as you both grow together. Over time, if the relationship becomes more serious, financial matters will need to be discussed, but that should be something that happens naturally. You'll both need to understand how your finances work together, but that conversation is best saved for when your emotional connection is strong and you both feel secure in your relationship. Don't make money the center of your relationship. It can cause unnecessary anxiety and miscommunication early on. In conclusion, it's essential to keep your financial situation private when you're just starting a relationship. Share only the basics and let your emotional connection take center stage. Once trust and emotional intimacy have been built, there will be plenty of time to discuss finances. Until then, focus on the aspects of your life that bring you joy, stability, and happiness, and keep the conversation about money in the background, letting the love and connection grow without the added pressure of financial talk. Keep things simple and let your relationship evolve naturally. The third thing that should remain private is your past relationships. Now, I know it's natural to want to share your history with someone new, especially when things start to get serious. But it's crucial to understand that opening up too much about your past relationships too early can create unnecessary complications, misunderstandings, or even insecurities. There's a reason we call it the past. It's behind us, and the focus should be on what you're building now, not on who you were with before. One of the main reasons to keep your past relationships private is to avoid comparisons. When you start talking about your exes, you're opening the door for comparisons that can't be avoided. No matter how much you try to say it's not about the other person, the truth is your partner is going to be wondering about your past experiences. Even if you don't intend to, your new partner will naturally compare themselves to your exes. And that can lead to feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, or insecurity, especially if they feel like they don't measure up. Even something as simple as mentioning that your ex was better at doing something could have a lasting impact. By keeping your past private, you're also protecting your partner from feelings of competition or doubt. It's one thing to have a casual conversation about what you learned from a past relationship, but it's another to start discussing the intimate details. When you get into specifics like how your ex made you feel, how they treated you, or how they were in the relationship, it can make your current partner feel like they're constantly being measured against someone who's no longer even in the picture. No one wants to feel like they're in competition with someone from the past, and those comparisons can erode trust and create tension where it doesn't need to exist. There's also the risk of your current partner feeling like they're simply a rebound or an afterthought. If you spend too much time talking about an ex, your partner might wonder if you're emotionally over that person. They might question whether you're truly invested in them or if you're still emotionally attached to someone else. This can put unnecessary pressure on the relationship and make it harder for both of you to move forward. Instead of focusing on a past relationship, the energy should be invested in building the present one. You're trying to create something new, and the last thing you want is to drag emotional baggage from the past into a relationship that deserves a fresh start. Additionally, your past relationships can be full of emotional baggage that you might not even realize you're still carrying. It's easy to slip into patterns or bring unresolved issues into a new relationship. And talking about your exes too much can accidentally bring those feelings to the surface. You might be inadvertently holding on to old wounds, and sharing them with someone new can create misunderstandings or bring up issues that aren't relevant to your current situation. This can also put undue pressure on your partner to fix things that are outside of their control. You might find yourself looking for them to heal wounds from the past, when in reality, it's something you need to work through on your own before you can fully commit to a healthy relationship with someone new. Another reason to keep your past private is to avoid overloading your partner with information they don't need to know. Relationships are about building trust, and you want to create a foundation based on the present and future, not your history. When you overshare about past partners, it can overwhelm your new partner and make them feel like they're learning more than they should. This can lead to confusion about your feelings and intentions. Relationships thrive on mystery and discovery, and constantly looking back at the past doesn't allow for the exciting moments of getting to know each other in the present. Finally, it's important to remember that not every detail of your life needs to be shared in the early stages of a relationship. Your past relationships are part of who you are, but they don't need to define the future you're building with someone new. Letting go of your exes, emotionally and mentally, can help you focus more clearly on your current partner. Share experiences and learn from them, but don't dwell on things that no longer serve you. It's okay to have parts of your life that are private. You're not required to share everything right away. And you don't owe anyone an explanation about past relationships unless it directly impacts your current relationship. In conclusion, it's best to keep your past relationships private in the early stages of a new relationship. There's no need to overshare about your exes, because doing so can cause comparisons, insecurities, and unnecessary emotional baggage. Focus on the present. Enjoy the moments you're creating with your new partner, and allow the relationship to develop naturally without the weight of past relationships weighing it down. Your future together should be what matters most, and your past should remain exactly that, the past. The fourth thing you must keep private is your financial situation. Now, I know many people believe that sharing financial details with your partner is part of being open and honest. But there are some things about money that are better left unsaid in the early stages of a relationship. When you talk too much about your finances, it can put unnecessary pressure on the relationship and create unrealistic expectations. Whether you have a lot of money or you're struggling financially, your financial situation is something that doesn't need to be shared unless you're in a serious, committed relationship where both partners are working together toward a shared future. One of the main reasons to keep your financial situation private is that it can lead to misunderstandings. People often have preconceived notions about what someone's financial situation should look like based on their own beliefs, experiences, or social standards. For example, if you make a lot of money, someone might feel like they need to keep up with your lifestyle or start expecting expensive gifts and extravagant dates. This creates a sense of imbalance in the relationship, where one person may feel pressured to spend money or live up to a standard that isn't sustainable for them. On the flip side, if you're struggling financially, sharing that too early might make your partner feel uncomfortable or even cause them to question whether you're capable of contributing to a shared future. Finances also tend to bring out certain insecurities in people. If you're not upfront about your financial situation, you can avoid situations where your partner feels insecure or judged based on their own financial status. No one wants to feel like they're being assessed or evaluated based on how much money they make. Money should never be the main measure of someone's worth, and putting that focus too early in a relationship can lead to negative feelings and unnecessary stress. If your partner is doing better financially than you, or vice versa, the relationship can start to feel less about the emotional connection and more about material status, which isn't healthy for either person involved. Moreover, talking about your finances too soon can make the relationship feel transactional. You don't want your partner to start viewing your relationship as a way to get something out of it, whether it's financial help or gifts. When money becomes part of the equation too early, it can turn the relationship into a business arrangement rather than an emotional connection. In the beginning, the focus should be on building trust, understanding, and emotional intimacy. If you start discussing financial matters right away, your partner might begin to see you as a provider or someone they need to rely on for financial support, which can complicate the dynamics of the relationship. Relationships based on money tend to lack the genuine connection that comes from shared values, respect, and emotional bonding. Another reason to keep your financial situation private is that it prevents unwanted expectations. When you start sharing too much about your wealth or financial struggles, people can start to expect certain behaviors from you. If you talk about how much money you make, they might expect you to pay for things all the time or cover the costs of activities or outings. This can lead to resentment because one person might feel burdened by the financial responsibility while the other may feel entitled to certain things. Even small gestures like buying dinner or gifts can turn into a source of tension. Keeping your financial details private helps to ensure that these expectations don't disrupt the natural flow of your relationship. Additionally, talking about money too soon can create a sense of judgment. If you have a good job and are financially stable, sharing that with someone who isn't in the same position could make them feel inferior. It could lead to them feeling like they need to change their lifestyle to meet your standards. On the other hand, if you're struggling financially, constantly talking about it can make you feel vulnerable or even weak. You might feel embarrassed or ashamed about your financial struggles, which isn't something you want to bring into a new relationship. It's better to focus on building emotional trust and intimacy first, rather than letting finances become a defining factor. Money also has a way of shifting priorities and values. When finances are discussed too much, the person receiving that information might start focusing on material things instead of the emotional aspects of the relationship. They might start to wonder what they're getting out of the relationship in terms of financial gain, instead of appreciating the love, support, and companionship you're offering. This can be especially tricky if one person in the relationship has more money than the other, because it can lead to an imbalance of power where money plays a larger role than it should in the relationship. Lastly, talking about your finances too soon can put unnecessary pressure on both of you. If your financial situation isn't ideal or it's in transition, constantly discussing it can make the relationship feel burdensome. You might feel like you're always having to explain your situation or defend yourself against judgments. If you are financially stable, talking too much about your success can create expectations that you may not be willing or able to meet. Financial struggles or successes should not define your relationship, especially when the foundation is still being built. Focus on connecting on a deeper level before bringing financial matters into the equation. In conclusion, your financial situation is something that should remain private in the early stages of a relationship. Too much focus on money can create misunderstandings, unrealistic expectations, and unnecessary pressure. The foundation of any strong relationship should be emotional connection, trust, and mutual respect, not financial status. When you're ready and the relationship has matured, you can have honest conversations about money. But in the beginning, it's essential to focus on what truly matters, building a strong, genuine connection with your partner. The fifth thing that women should keep private is their past relationships. Now, I know many women feel the need to talk about their past, whether it's to explain why they're cautious, what went wrong in their previous relationships, or just to vent about their experiences. However, sharing too much about past relationships can create unnecessary baggage that affects your present one. It's important to understand that your current partner is not responsible for your past. They should not have to carry the weight of your exes or the mistakes you've made in the past. Constantly bringing up old relationships can not only lead to comparisons, but can also make your partner feel like they're being judged or scrutinized based on things they had nothing to do with. When you talk about your exes too much, it can create insecurity in your partner. Whether you intend to or not, sharing intimate details about your past can lead to feelings of inadequacy. Your partner may start to feel like they're not measuring up to your previous relationships, or might feel like they're being compared to someone else. This is especially true if you talk about your exes in a positive light, highlighting their qualities and accomplishments. Even if your intentions are innocent, constantly mentioning your past can plant seeds of doubt in your partner's mind. They may begin to wonder whether you're still hung up on your ex or if you're comparing them to someone else. This is the last thing you want in a relationship because it creates a sense of competition rather than collaboration. Additionally, talking too much about your past relationships can create a sense of emotional distance between you and your current partner. The more you focus on what happened in the past, the less you focus on building a strong and healthy relationship in the present. If you're constantly talking about how your ex did this or that, your partner might feel like you're emotionally unavailable to them. They may feel like they're only there to fill the space that your ex left behind rather than being loved and appreciated for who they are. A relationship should be about the two people involved, not about the ghosts of past relationships. Bringing up old flames too often can make your current partner feel like they're not the priority and that they're just a rebound or second choice. Another issue with discussing past relationships is that it can lead to unhealthy emotional comparisons. If you've been in a relationship that was particularly fulfilling or positive, you might find yourself comparing your new partner to that person. While it's natural to have certain standards and expectations, constantly comparing your new partner to your ex is unfair. Every relationship is different, and each person brings something unique to the table. If you constantly compare your partner to someone from your past, you risk overlooking the wonderful qualities they possess and undervaluing what they bring into the relationship. This can lead to resentment and frustration on both sides because no one wants to feel like they're constantly being measured against someone else. Furthermore, sharing too much about your past relationships can create an emotional burden for your partner. When you discuss past traumas or unresolved issues from previous relationships, you might inadvertently put them in a position where they feel obligated to fix you or take on emotional baggage that isn't theirs to carry. This can place unnecessary strain on your current relationship as it shifts the focus from the present to your past hurts. A healthy relationship should allow both partners to move forward together, not become a constant process of healing from old wounds. While it's important to talk about past experiences in a healthy way, constantly bringing them up can make it feel like you're stuck in the past rather than growing together as a couple. It's also important to remember that your current partner has their own past and might not be comfortable discussing theirs. Just as you may have negative experiences or unresolved feelings from past relationships, your partner may have their own issues that they're not ready to share. Constantly talking about your own history could make your partner feel like they have to open up too much too soon, or that they're being judged based on things they've experienced. This dynamic can create a sense of emotional imbalance where one person feels vulnerable and exposed while the other remains more closed off. A balanced relationship is one where both partners can share without feeling pressured or judged, and where each person's past is respected without overshadowing the present connection. Moreover, the more you talk about your exes, the more likely it is that your partner will start to feel like your past is affecting your present relationship. If you're still bringing up your ex in casual conversation or referring to things they did for you, your current partner might start to question where they fit into your life. They might feel like they're not important enough to have their own place in your heart, or that they're constantly being measured against someone who's no longer in your life. This can lead to tension and misunderstandings, which can ultimately undermine the trust and intimacy in the relationship. Ultimately, your past relationships should not define your current relationship. While it's understandable to want to share your experiences or talk about your past to help your partner understand you better, it's crucial to recognize that your current partner is not your ex. The past is just that, the past. It's important to let go of old baggage and focus on building a relationship based on who you are now, not who you were before. A healthy relationship is about looking forward, not backward. The more you focus on the present and on your partner, the stronger your relationship will be. In conclusion, keeping your past relationships private is important for the health and growth of your current relationship. By focusing on the present, avoiding comparisons, and not making your past a focal point, you create a space where both you and your partner can build something beautiful without unnecessary emotional baggage. Let the past stay in the past and focus on nurturing the connection you have right now. The sixth thing that women should keep private is their financial situation. This may seem like a surprising one, but it's crucial to understand why discussing money too openly, especially with a man, can be harmful to both your personal life and your relationship. Money, unfortunately, is often a sensitive subject. It carries a lot of baggage, whether it's insecurities, past financial struggles, or simply the societal pressures that come with how much or how little you earn. Sharing too much about your finances can lead to unnecessary complications, misunderstanding, or even cause friction between you and your partner. One of the primary reasons to keep your financial situation private is that it can alter the dynamics of your relationship. If a man knows too much about your income, debt, or financial habits, it could create an imbalance. He may feel pressured to act a certain way, either stepping up to provide more if he feels inadequate, or on the other side, he could feel inferior if you're more successful or stable than he is. These dynamics can inadvertently lead to feelings of competition or resentment, neither of which have a place in a healthy relationship. Every individual should feel secure in who they are, regardless of their financial standing, and not feel like they are being measured against their partner's financial situation. Additionally, discussing money can unintentionally cause your partner to view you in a different light. For example, if you talk about how much you make or your financial struggles, your partner may start to associate you more with your financial status than who you are as a person. Money can sometimes overshadow other important qualities like personality, values, and emotional connection. If your financial situation is constantly part of the conversation, your partner may begin to associate you with that number rather than the amazing person you are beyond that. It's important that your partner sees you as a whole individual, not as your paycheck or financial struggles. Another issue with discussing finances too openly is that it can make your partner feel uncomfortable. especially if they are in a different financial situation. Let's say you make significantly more money than your partner. Constantly discussing your salary or your financial goals may unintentionally create a rift. Your partner might start feeling inadequate or as though they are falling short. On the other hand, if you're facing financial difficulties, your partner might feel burdened with the responsibility to help you. This can place an unnecessary strain on the relationship, as it may bring up feelings of obligation rather than genuine care or love. Money issues are one of the leading causes of stress in relationships, and over-discussing it can just add to the pressure. Keeping your financial situation private can also protect you from being taken advantage of. It's unfortunate, but sometimes people may try to use your financial status to manipulate or control the situation. When you share too much about how much money you make or what assets you have, it can invite unwanted attention or lead someone to treat you differently based on that information. When you're in a relationship, you want to ensure that the person you're with is genuinely interested in you as an individual and not because of what you have financially. If your financial situation is known, there could be the temptation for someone to expect things from you, whether it's gifts, paying for things all the time, or other forms of financial expectations. You want to protect your peace and ensure that your relationship is built on emotional and spiritual connections rather than monetary expectations. Moreover, by keeping your finances private, you also maintain a sense of independence. You don't want your partner to feel like they are responsible for every financial decision or that they should be constantly aware of your situation. Having a level of financial independence and privacy means that you can make decisions without feeling the need to justify them or get approval from your partner. It's important to maintain a sense of self in a relationship, and your finances are one area where you can keep that independence. You should be able to make financial decisions based on what's best for you and your future, without external pressure or influence from someone else. Lastly, if you constantly talk about money in a relationship, it can create a sense of tension around spending and saving. For example, if you're the type of person who likes to save every penny or be frugal, while your partner enjoys spending money, this can lead to conflicts. The more you discuss money, the more likely it is that your partner may feel judged or criticized for how they handle their finances. Even if you think you're being careful with your words, the tension around money can lead to arguments or frustration, especially if your financial habits are different from your partner's. The less you focus on money, the more you allow your relationship to grow based on emotional bonds, mutual respect, and understanding rather than financial pressure. In conclusion, your financial situation is something that should remain private, especially when you're building a relationship. While it's okay to discuss finances in the context of goals and expectations, oversharing the details of your money can lead to unhealthy dynamics, insecurity, and unnecessary stress. Money should not be the defining factor in any relationship, and by keeping it private, you're allowing the emotional connection to take precedence. Whether you're doing well financially or facing challenges, it's essential to protect your personal financial space and ensure that your relationship is built on love, trust, and mutual respect, not on who has more or less money.